introduce our next speaker, Solitaire Townsend. Now, as she's known to many, Solly is helping clients become more sustainable long before it became mainstream. She's a self-made business leader, she's an author, and she's a brilliant communicator. Her TED Talks are wildly popular. Her latest one has been viewed by almost 2 million people. As a co-founder of the change agency Futerra, she advises governments, charities, and big brands on how to solve social and environmental challenges. Now, she's got a positivity and a can attitude that is almost contagiously energizing. So I warn you. She's won numerous awards, including most recently being named Agency Lead of the Year at Adweek Sustainability Awards. Oh, and one more thing. Solitaire would like you to know that yes, she thinks it's a pretty name too, and no, she wasn't named after the Bond girl. Please join me welcoming Solitaire Townsend.
Wonderful. Hello, hello. I've just realized that subconsciously, I'm like representing sustainability. Like green dresses, not green washes. Like this is my new campaign. So, my name is Solitaire, please call me Solly, and I'm here to talk to you about sustainability and climate and ESG. Like super exciting, yeah? Like really, really the thing that most activates marketers, particularly following amazing, amazing AB InBev. What I've been asked a lot over the last year is basically, what the fuck happened to green marketing? Over the last few years, this has been a huge, huge, huge conversation in our industry. And yet, then over the last couple of months, suddenly pernicious greenwashing is everywhere. And this idea of green hushing, that actually we can't talk about sustainability anymore. It's too contentious, it's too woke, we're going to get pushback. ESG, people, I've seen on Twitter loads of people criticizing ESG, and then you text them going, what does it stand for? And you get a lot of different answers back which don't actually stand for environmental and social governance. So, you know, is this it? It's like green marketing and sustainability over? Can we kind of just go back to the stuff that we actually know how to do, which is just to sell product? Well, the slight problem with that is like sort of inching out, pushing against the green hushing is actual climate change. And when you try to put issues of politics up against issues of physics, sometimes the physics is going to win. We have an absolute epidemic of climate anxiety amongst our youth. In fact, 50% of people under the age of 20 think that they don't have a future. We've got people who aren't having kids because they're worried about the world that we're living in. And so we've got these two worlds either side. On one side, the normal world of marketing, of selling, of just like, let's get growth, let's get things going, let's double down on the basics, let's not kind of try to be too woke. And on the other side, the fact that we've just passed 1.5 degrees of global warming, the fact that Europe is heating 3 times as fast as anywhere else in the world, and the fact that Gen Z and millennials are incredibly concerned about this. And actually, screw Gen Zs and millennials, Gen X is worried about this. Boomers are worried about this. This is the reality that we sit within. So what's actually happening? First of all, I'm going to start with the sustainability bit, because that's what I know. So how those of us who worked in sustainability, and I've worked in sustainability for almost 30 years, planned was that we were just going to take this action every year, that we'd slowly increase renewables, we'd slowly increase sustainable products, we'd sell greener products, we would just keep going up and up and up. And then you hit a few barriers to that. And actually, this year is one of those barriers. We have got half of humanity going to the polls this year. Over 2 billion people will be casting their vote over the next few months. That is an extremely anxiety-inducing audience to talk about anything that is public policy. I'm not sure if you noticed, but even International Women's Day this year wasn't a very big deal. We talk about green hushing and the fact that actually companies aren't talking about sustainability as that much anymore. You're all talking about sustainability more because there's these huge reporting requirements. You might not have heard about things such as CSRD, but these are reporting requirements from the EU, from California, from the UK, which every single large business is making more information available than it's ever done before on the actual hard stuff. And also, linear change isn't how humanity has ever changed. It's not how our societies change. We go through things which are called punctuated equilibrium, where everything stays the same and then suddenly, boom, be it technology or social change. And bluntly, that's how sustainability is going to happen. There will be bumps, particularly on that curve, and we're about here. So when people say to me, well, is this really such a big issue anymore? Or alternatively, when people say to me, well, but like, we're all just completely fucked, aren't we? There's nothing we can do. Sorry, apologies for the swearing. Apparently it's really cute when British people swear. You know, it's that whole sort of Downton Abbey thing. So we are here. We are at this point where over the next few years, particularly technologically, we are going to see radical change. We all are talking about AI right now, and that's super exciting. But when you look at some of the deep technologies that fuel our entire economy, you are seeing that change already happening. I was there for this. I was there in the early 200s in 2010 when actually we thought we would be lucky if we got some kind of linear change on renewables. We would be lucky if renewables were even vaguely price parity by 2100. And already wind and solar are cheaper than any other form of energy. So this is what's going to happen. This is what the next few years hold for us. And do consumers give a damn about any of it? This is a big question that I get asked a lot. It's about this values action gap. We've all seen the statistics. Again and again, we're told 50%, 80% of consumers, they're prepared to pay more. They'll do more. They'll pay anything for sustainability. And then they don't. They say they'll do something, and then they don't do it. And this values action gap we get talked about. But I want every single one of you, can we bring the house lights up for 1 second? Is that possible? I want every single one of you to just, for a moment, maybe we can't, so don't worry, just for a moment, reflect on something that you've been intending to do for some time to make the world a better place. Maybe fly less, maybe eat a bit less meat, maybe use recyclable coffee cups, maybe use less food waste, something that you've been intending to do and haven't. So your own values action gap. Does anyone want to shout one out? What is one of your eco-sins? Who is failing to live up to their expectation? Like I have a T-shirt that says bad environmentalist. It's literally my life. I particularly on food waste, like literally my food waste bin sits there fatter than anything else. Anyone got one that they're prepared to admit? Anyone a bad environmentalist? Coffee cups, it's a big one. Every single time, going, shit, I forgot to bring my coffee cup. I'll take it again. Anybody else? Fast fashion, that's a big one. Wearing the same thing every day and opening your wardrobe to see everything which you bought that's still got the tags on it. So the reason why I ask you to reflect on this is because actually there is a massive myth around the fact that the values action gap is a morality gap. That actually when consumers say they care about this, they're lying. That when they say that sustainability really matters to them, that actually they just want to seem good to the survey team. Whereas actually, there isn't a gap. There's a barrier. So what we as marketeers need to do is find ways to overcome these barriers that consumers feel, many of which are not their fault. Sometimes it's cost and availability. There's no point asking consumers to recycle if there isn't recycling in their area. Sometimes it's awareness. Sometimes it's trust. Greenwash, massively undermining whether consumers feel that it's worth buying your sustainable products. Myths, habits, social acceptance, desire, fatalism. These are all the things which are in the way. Now, we hear again and again that people believe that brands have responsibility to make a positive change in the world, and that 88% of consumers want you to help them live a more sustainable lifestyle. Surveys are great, but one of Futerra's biggest clients is Google, and I asked Google about search terms for sustainable issues. And this has been the last year of search terms on Google. 100% increase in search around electric vehicles, half on saving fuel, 100% on e-bikes, 100% on reducing food waste, 100% on thrifting. Consumers are asking how to live a sustainable lifestyle. And I'm wondering who's answering them. Are you answering these questions that consumers around the world are actively looking for? Because one of the things is that they don't want you to tell them how amazing you are. They don't want these campaigns around the incredible work that you've done, the purpose work and the cause work, where the only role for them, the only role for the consumer is to go, it's like 101 marketing. We already know this. And actually, when we ask millennials and we ask Gen Zs, what's the most important thing for brands to do to focus on when they're making positive change? Whilst millennials quite like causes and purpose, Gen Zs want better products. They want you to help them live sustainably by providing them the ways to do so. And that's sometimes why I think that actually, when we think about purpose and cause, it's a quite rickety bridge that we've tried to build across that values action gap, where actually the campaigns make us cry, but they don't make us buy. They let us win Cannes Awards, but they actually don't drive consumer engagement with your product. There's an enormous amount of what I call ego marketing. The only thing that can smash through values to action is benefits. Is actually something in it for the consumer. And this is, again, I show this to a bunch of environmentalists because it's completely new to them. It shouldn't be to you. Functional benefits, ways to save. Is this better? Is it cheaper? Is it easier to use? Is it going to make me feel better about myself? Does it help me with my kids? Does it help me belong? Does it give me those emotional and those social benefits? Is there anything in sustainability for me? Or is it all about you? Who is the hero of your sustainability campaigns? Because if it's you, that's why sustainability doesn't turn the dial. And this is a good example, so which Nike keeps asking me to stop showing. So this is a Nike shoe. You can tell it's got the swoosh on it if you look closely enough. It was, it was terrible. It completely busted. It's the considered shoe. In 2005, nobody bought it. If you did buy it, they actually sell for quite a lot on eBay now. They've become a collector's item. But this is when you're doing sustainability for yourself. 60% reduction in footprint, hemp, much more eco-materials, good story that you can tell about what an amazing company you are for doing sustainability. No fucker wanted to buy it. This is the Flyknit. The Flyknit shoe actually has a 60 to 80% reduction in terms of its material use because it's knitted rather than molded. And crucially, this radical environmental innovation was sold on the fact that it helps you run faster because it's lighter. An actual benefit to the consumer from what you're doing on sustainability rather than claims about how wonderful you are. So we need to stop ego marketing. In fact, just over the last couple of weeks, my team reviewed the award winners from 2003 and 2004, the Webbies, FEs, Cannes, D&AD, Ad Net Zero, ANA, and Creative Pool. And when we looked at those campaigns that had won these sustainability awards, 45% of them mentioned no consumer benefit at all. It was all the benefit of the company saying how amazing the company was. Like, just look how good we are. Like, don't you just want to thank us for all the efforts we've put in? Rather than that actually being what we all know right down at the basis of marketing, which is actually we're the ones who are serving them. And they're concerned, they're worried, people are angry, they're upset, they're scared, they're hopeful, and what they want is for you to help them be the hero of change rather than them being expected to celebrate you. And one of the best ways to do that, in my experience, is to work with social media creators. A piece of research we did with Unilever is that consumers think that TikTok and Instagram are the best ways to hear and learn about sustainability, that this is a place where you can actually show behaviors, you can show the benefits, you can have creators talk about how much they've enjoyed doing this, how easier it is for them, how much more fun it is for them. And that actually creators, and this is a most recent piece of research, creators want your help with that. So consumers want your help with sustainability, creators want your help with sustainability. So we've just got this, finally, this little final formula, which is you need a solution, you need really strong benefits to the consumers, engage with the consumers, engage with creators, and that gives you success. Now, I could have stood up here and told you all the moral responsibility you have in order to sell sustainability, the fact that we need more advocacy, we need more voice, the fact that we need you out there talking about climate change, and I'm not. You're not the best people to do that. You're not activists. You're storytellers, and you're salespeople. And so actually what we need you to do is create better products, is create sustainable answers, and then sell them. Sell them in the way that you know best. Use everything that's brilliant about marketing, the human understanding, the ability to connect, the way to actually create entirely new categories, the way to create entirely new habits, and to use that for sustainability solutions. Don't try to be Greenpeace. You're not very good at it. And it really pisses them off as well. Be marketers who are able to actually market a better future. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I'm so good.
Superb, Solly. I have a question, Solly. I've known you now for a few years. You've got this incredibly energetic personality, yeah? What makes you so positive and so resilient?
English breakfast tea. So very British. So when I started working in sustainability, when I did my master's in sustainability, going back almost 30 years, we were on track for 4 degrees of global warming. That was unquestionably, that's what all the scientists told us. 4 degrees of global warming is not a survivable scenario. We're now on track for 2. That still sucks, but it sucks a lot less than where we were. There has been radical change. I'm standing here at the World Federation of Advertisers Global Marketing Week talking to you about climate change. That's simply not something that would have happened 20 years ago. Loads of you will come up to me afterwards and ask me, what can I do? What's the best thing that I can take? So I remember being in a focus group 20 years ago talking about biodiversity, and this little old lady turned around to me and she goes, no, love, it's biological washing powder, not biodiversity. And yet now we have global recognition and understanding of some of these issues. So what makes me hopeful is every single industry is having this conversation, and actually, particularly in this industry, you are the ones who are the makers of the manners. You can sell the solutions.
In my intro, I was referencing your TED Talk video where you're not holding back, in your sort of criticism of some aspects of our industry, of the ad industry. And deep down, you still seem to be really passionate about our industry. Explain to me why you're actually still confident and positive about our industry.
So this is my industry. I've worked in it for many, many, many years. So a couple of things. I know that we've got Duncan here from Clean Creatives. Clean Creatives are doing amazing work, helping creative people think about actually where they want to spend their talent. We can sell destruction as well as an industry. We're very, very good at selling what our clients, our bosses, our businesses want us to do. But what I found is more people of goodwill, anxiety, desire to take action within this industry than the opposite. You want to feel good about the work that you do. You want to tell your kids about it. You want to know that you're going to leave a legacy that you can be proud of, rather than this being one of the industries which is least liked in the world. When you look at industries which are respected, we don't come very high. And so actually, what makes me turn up, what makes me want to be part of this is that there are far more people of goodwill within this industry than those who enjoy selling destruction.
Solly, one last question, the question we're asking to all our speakers today. Your one piece of advice to marketers who seek to build better brands, so brands that are better aligned with people, with business, and with the planet. The one piece of advice.
The piece of advice is the most basic piece of advice there is about marketing, which is serve your consumer. Serve your customer. She is worried, she's scared, she's hopeful, she wants a better future, she looks around the world and she's so anxious. Help her feel happier by providing the services, the solutions, the products that make a difference. It's so basic, it's so simple. Serve your consumer, and bluntly, stop serving yourself.
On this note, thank you so much.